you, and thank you for having me here. Today is a wonderful event because this is a summit called the Voices of Hope. Voices of Hope in the International Day of the Hope is something that really is meaningful because hope in the life is everything. And for me, the hope was part of my story. I'm today here in Washington. I came to attend an event here in Washington called the James Foley Legacy Foundation Gala that is based on the hostage that had been returning to the U.S. and because their family had hope. So for me, hope has a lot to do with my story. So I want to begin with my story, and let me introduce myself. My name is Jose Pereira, and I was a former oil and gas executive. I was in the pinnacle of my career in 2017 when suddenly happened something to me. So let's go back to November 9, 2017. I was, as I said, almost ready to finish my career. I have done a very long career. I was in the pinnacle of my career, and suddenly I decided to get retired because the situation that was going in that moment, I was working in a oil and gas company that belongs to the Venezuelan government because I'm Venezuelan born, and I didn't like what was going on, to tell you the truth. So I decided to get retired. I thought it was time to get retired. So I went to talk with my boss, and he approved me finally back and forward in 3 months to get retired. So I returned. I was in the retire mode, and I was with my wife in a movie, and I began to receive this phone call. Adversity always comes with a phone call. And that phone call was ringing and ringing and ringing in the middle of the movie. I decided to take the phone, and it was my boss. My boss was asking me to go to a last-minute meeting, and that last-minute meeting resulted to be a settlement. And that settlement became that we were caught in the middle of the political tension that was going on in that moment between the U.S. and Venezuela. We became the political pawns in the bargain chip, and my hostage situation lasted 5 years. So for 5 years, it became to be, for me, a nightmare, a total nightmare. And, those first months was I was clueless. I didn't know what was going to happen. Because when you are in any adverse situation in life, you don't think that can be really happening to you. In the beginning, you deny it. You say that this is not happening to me. And then you finally decide, why this is happening to me? Why I'm going through this? I was guessing, but why, my Lord, I'm in the pinnacle of my career. Why you did this to me? And I began to think that was a mistake because you really begin to deny it. But at some point, you accept it. So the way you decide to accept it is going to be the game changer for you. Because in my case, at the beginning, I was hopeless. I was in a total confinement, and I really was hopeless. I didn't know even if I was going to survive because I went to go to a lot of illness and health issues. And I was hopeless. I was totally hopeless. That's why the hope is so important. And at some point, after almost 1 year, we received a phone call from my wife, and we received a visit of the UN Commission. And we heard from our family that they were fighting hard to bring us back. And when I heard from the UN people that they were also fighting hard to get us released, that began to change for us. It began to give us a lot of hope. So at that point, we really began to think that something could happen. And, the situation for us was like a game changer. And not only that, because I was in the hostage situation with my 5 top executive, my colleagues, and for the first time after we have 1 year where we put it together, and that was also another boost in the hope. Because part of the situation when you go in any adverse situation in your life, because I was going to this extreme adverse situation, but you can be going in any situation in your life. You can be going in a divorce. You can be going in a financial breakout. You can be going to a health issue, any situation in your life. The first thing that you have to begin to think is that you need to really be focused on the situation and try to be calm, because be calm and focused will make you think with cold head what is the situation you're going, because sometimes the situation can be not so bad, or the solution can be more near to you that you can believe, but sometimes you don't see it. You don't see that coming. And we begin to figure out that their family was really fighting hard to bring us back. So at some point we begin to manage the situation with our peers, and finally we found that we were in a shape that we could try to handle the situation. We begin to go to a survivor mode. So now being calm and focused, now trying to think in a better way. So because this is another thing in another situation, you have to be having a positive mindset. So now we're having this positive mindset, and we thought, okay, this is our situation, but we need to survive. We begin to manage it. We begin to do a survivor things. We created a daily routine, and that daily routine included that now, because the pressure was so hard, that we begin to relax a little bit the situation for us, and then we begin to read. We begin to read. And another thing that I begin to do is I decided to write. I decided to smuggle letters with my wife, because I found that that was the most effective way that I could communicate, because I wasn't having very good communication. So I began to smuggle letters in the food and they were begin to provide our families. When I was returning the trash cans, in a double bottom, I included letters. So I decided to smuggle letters, and I began to receive letters from her. And we began to do that in a daily basis, every 2-3 days. And finally, when I came back, I have collected with my wife, between us, around 1,000 letters during 3 years. So those letters, my wife had compiled it, and that letter became to be my memoir. It's going to be in my book that is going to be very soon out. It's called From Hero to Villain, the true story of the Citgo 6, because we became to be the Citgo 6. Because the pressure in the press was so big that at some point the press was talking loudly about us, and they decided to call us the Citgo 6. So now we're focused. Now we are having a positive mindset. Now we're having that connection with our family and our wife, and that began to change our mindset. It began to change all the situation. It really began to infuse us hope. And we begin to read the Bible, because we managed also to smuggle a small Bible, and we begin to read the Bible. And at some point, that atmosphere began to change, and that began to be like a church for us. And we begin to have these daily prayers and Bible studies. That in the past, I was not a religious guy. I always was laughing at people doing Bible study, because I thought that was a loss of time. Now I'm here doing Bible studies during 3 hours every day, during years. So that became to be another infuse of faith and hope. Now we're having hope. Now we're having faith, and now we're having the support of our families. So and that infuses faith and hope began to connect us to our spirituality. And we begin to connect to our spirituality, we found that inner force that everybody has inside. And there's where their hope makes a boost, because now you're having that faith that you're going to come back. So when any adverse situation in life happens to you, that infuses hope, and that infuses faith that you're going to survive, or you're going to overcome any adversity in your life. That's what's going to make a change for you in your life. So having those connections, and we begin to take care of our physical and our mental health, because, any situation that's going in your life, you always need to think that you really need to take care of your physical and mental health. Because sometimes when people are going to a adverse situation in their life, they decided to, to fail with their physical and mental health, and that makes the situation even worse. Some people go and stay all the day in the bed, totally depressed, or they begin to eat too much or not to eat, or have distortions in their food regimes, or they stop doing exercise. So you have to do it in the contrary. You have to begin to exercise. You have to begin to take care of your mental health. In our case, when we were in that situation, we were in a very confined, tiny place. But even though we begin to, do static running, we begin to practice yoga, we begin to meditate, we begin to read a lot. We begin to do cardio, push-up. I never in my life had done push-up. I was doing their push-up. One hand push-up, doing one hand push-up. And we begin to read. And we begin to write, and we begin to read the Bible and pray, and we begin to even have fun. We decided to play domino. We do a domino tournament among us. In the beginning was with this tiny paper that we did, is the play domino, and finally we were allowed to bring a real domino, and we went to play domino. We began to play domino. There was a book that came to my life. That is the book of Viktor Frankl, Men in a Search of Meaning. And that guy began to talk to me. That guy began to talk about, the suffering, there is a purpose. You have to find a purpose. And that situation began to make a very big game changer for us. And finally, we were totally convinced that we were going to come back. So 1 year before we were released, we received the first visit of Ambassador Carsten, that visited us from the Special Presidential Office of Hostage Affairs. And he went 3 times to Venezuela, and the first time, one day on October 1st, 2022, we were released. We came back to the prison shop. So now I'm here today advocating for the hostage community. Now I'm here today that I became a leadership and resilience coach. Now I'm here today talking. I became a motivational speaking, and now I'm talking to you. And I am today here in Washington assisting to the James Foley Legacy Foundation event that's going to talk about the hope and the faith that the family, and the moral courage that the families and all the people that are involved in the hostage community to bring the people back. So in this day, that is the International Hope Day. For me, talking about hope is something that really resonates to me, and I hope that resonates to you too. Because my situation that I went through was an extreme situation, but we managed to survive. We managed to handle it because we decided to come back staying in one piece to our families, in soul, in body, and in spirit. And because we were connected to our inner force, we were connected to our family, we were connected to the superior force that is God, and that made us to have hope and faith, and we got the support of our family. And that's why I'm today here talking about how you can, any adversity in life, you can overcome it. How things you can become resilient, more strength in your life because you have the support of your loved ones, and then you have the boost of faith and hope. And today, International Hope Day, I hope that this message resonates to you, because that mankind and the humanity needs more hope. People need to be connected to their loved ones, have faith, and never give up, and never lose hope. Thank you very much for hearing me.
Embark on a journey of strength, resilience, faith, and hope with Jose Pereira's memoirs. From hero to villain, my true story of captivity in Venezuela's prisons. Jose Pereira's memoirs take you on a harrowing journey of his 5 years of captivity. As an international hostage in Venezuela's prisons, he smuggled in over 1,000 letters with his wife, Effie, and transformed his experience into an inspirational book written from his soul. Be inspired by Jose Pereira's story of survival and resilience. Get your copy of From Hero to Villain the book today.